Listen, you can consider this your skiff, and I would just tell you that if I would do what Wrigley did, if I had $1 million, I'd spend 999,999 on advertising and $1 on product. I'm just saying that if you want to keep borrowing, spending, and taxing, you're more than welcome to stay in the status quo. That's a you problem. But I'm suggesting we all repeat no more borrowing, no more spending, no more taxing. Can Americans actually say those words? It's only three variables, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course, virtually everybody in the world, in the United States, with half a brain would subscribe to those simple principles. No more borrowing, no more spending, and no more taxation. But I think there's a caveat, and I think you do as well. I think the caveat is that there's a necessary amount of taxing to minimally run services in both the municipality, the state, and in the federal and in the republic. And you would like to find that sweet spot to the best of your ability. Isn't that really what you're trying to say? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but isn't that really what a grown man wants to do? That wants to be a member of the gang of eight?
Well, you keep mentioning Gang of Eight, and all I'm trying to really point out is a political economic philosophy theory or run a mental mind simulation because we can look at the actual projected numbers. We can go full Zimbabwe, and those $1 trillion notes now are collectibles. I'm not
Can we
saying.
agree that you believe that there is a certain minimal level of taxation on a federal, state, and local level that you would support?
Yeah, I feel like 10% is fair. That seems fair to me. No one should have to pay more than 10% of their total net income in taxation over a period of 365 days.
That
And it
includes local tax.
everything. Nothing should be more. Nobody should pay more than 10%. If you're going to tithe 10% to your church, why should we tithe more than 10% to the government?
How do you do that in practice if John makes $300,000 a year and he has to pay $30,000 in total taxes, and Fred, because he's not as smart as John, makes only $150,000 a year, and he has to pay a total of $15,000. So how do we delve that up between state, local, and federal governments? John's 30,000 and Fred's 15,000. When John lives in Chicago and Fred lives in New Jersey, how do we do that? Go ahead. I'm interested.
Okay. Are you willing to go on mute? I'm going to read a poem. It's about 60 seconds. It's going to answer your question. It may not be the answer you want, but it's the answer I'm giving to you. You ready? It's called Distracting Thoughts. It's a poem I wrote to answer your question. I used Grok AI to create it. Evil thoughts can even arise during study and prayer and communication on X. And if they do, you should ignore them entirely and divert your mind from them immediately. Do not try to examine these thoughts, for that is a task for the righteous in whom evil finds no root. But the evil you experience is rooted in your own selfishness. Do not be dejected because of this. Rather, redouble your efforts on X to concentrate your mind, and in this way fill yourself with joy and gladness, realizing that distractions arise because your prayer and study are approaching selflessness. When distractions arise, ignore them and answer not fools according to their folly, lest you too become a fool. What if you cannot ignore them? Then humble yourself before God and ask God to rescue you from these turbulent waters. Ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you that turbulent waters is the status quo. And there's nothing new under the sun, and everything that is has already been. But why didn't the internet solve some of these financial crises that are afoot? Why aren't there cost efficiencies? Why can't we communicate effectively? Why can't we have peace now?
$30,000 and Fred only paid $15,000 because you and I have agreed. I'm okay with it. That 10% of John's income is $30,000 and 10% of Fred's income is